This is innovation in long-term care. We are successfully blending plant-based protein with beef for resident meals without compromising taste. In fact, we've made improvements to the overall resident menu. Here's how.
Dining in long-term care is complex. Each resident is provided with 3 meals a day plus snacks and refreshment. For city's long-term care homes, that's approximately 55,000 meals each week, which is about 2.86 million meals per year. The City School Food Pledge aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 25% from municipal food procurement by the year 2030.
So again, I can say more rather than switching over to maybe kind of from animal-based to plant-based, we can go work on maybe more kind of blended version of it, so to make sure it works better, or maybe switching over to other sources of protein, such as maybe chicken or maybe fish or other protein that can be still well accepted, but on the other side, less pressure on the environment.
Resident meals also need to meet dietary preferences, cultural and religious restrictions and requirements, and be nutritionally balanced to promote optimal health.
Senior services and long-term care are one of the largest food purchasers at the City of Toronto, so aligning to corporate priorities and supporting the city's broader business transformation and modernization is a big step. But it begins here, in the kitchen.
As part of our menu development, we were tasked to see how we can decrease greenhouse gas emissions, meeting the City of Toronto's Cool Food Pledge through our menu. And we identified that beef was the primary contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. So look to see how we can decrease the amount of beef on the resident menu, still maintaining the foods that they like, their preferences and the flavors that they're used to. We started off by decreasing the amount of beef dishes that we offered on the menu. And in the next phase, we look to see how we can perhaps change our recipes itself to decrease the amount of beef, perhaps by mixing in some plant-based protein with the beef. To test out some recipes, try them out, introduce them to the residents through menu tasting at a resident food show, and then incorporate them into the menu.
How's this for an innovative idea? We partnered with educational institutions to develop recipes in supervised test kitchens, working alongside program directors and professors at George Brown College, and students from the Food Nutrition Management Program and the Culinary Nutrition Management Program. Students teamed up with SSLTC cooks to develop original plant-based recipes. The March 2024 Let's Create Cooking Challenge was judged by long-term care residents and culinary school faculty. Students were mentored by seasoned cooks on the requirements of preparing meals for seniors and learned to incorporate plant-based protein into traditional recipes while developing creative and flavorful options.
There are now 28.6% fewer beef dishes on the 3-week menu cycle compared to 2019. We have found that blended meat dishes are a practical way to reduce beef consumption, incorporating plant-based protein into familiar meat dishes that are flavorful and sustainable.
The visual, texture, presence, appeal, flavor is 10 out of 10, with a zero impact to the residents' experience for overall dining and food quality.
Residents entering long-term care homes have complex care needs, including nutrition and dietetic services. The city long-term care home population is diverse. Residents come from 70 countries of origin. Diversity is reflected in recipe ingredients, menu options, and meal preferences. We have been successful and will continue to reduce greenhouse gas emissions as we track to 2030 and beyond. Bon appétit.